Thank you for joining us on our vacation video comparing the Occidental Tucancun and the Wyndham Alltra. These opinions are our own, and we are not sponsored to do this video. I hope you enjoy this trip as much as we did. Let's get to Cancun. Hey, how was the flight?
It was good.
It was good?
Quite a bit.
Was the flight good? Where are we at?
Cancun.
Nice. Gonna be a fun trip?
Should be.
Good deal. I'm sure it'll be an adventure. We arrived at the Cancun airport a little before noon. It's always an exciting feeling to come down that escalator and see that there's no line for customs. We walked right up to the front, stamped our passports, and we proceeded to the area where we picked up our transportation to the Occidental Tucancun. After a quick 20-minute ride, we arrived at the hotel. We're celebrating my son AJ graduating number 6 out of over 900 students in his senior class, and my other son Preston getting straight A's for the semester. Preston will be a junior next year, while AJ will attend the University of Houston and major in electrical engineering. We chose the Occidental Tucancun because it was listed as one of the best value hotels in the hotel zone. When you arrive to the lobby, there is a large window overlooking the aqua water. We always say it looks like someone dyed it 10 different shades of blue. It's extremely gorgeous when the sun is shining and the wind is coming off the ocean, making the 90-degree heat more tolerable. After checking in, we were ready for lunch, and we immediately went to the buffet. It was a very average and didn't have a ton of options. The Asian noodles from the salad bar were probably the family favorite. Overall, while everything was hot and I didn't have to cook it myself, it was a little disappointing. We do have 2 teenage boys who thankfully aren't very picky when it comes to food selections. Plus, there were no dishes to do. For dinner, there are 3 restaurants you can choose from at the Occidental Tucancun. The issue is you need to wake up at 7 a.m. when the front desk first opens and stand in line to make reservations for that evening. We had the buffet again for dinner, which had similar options as lunch. For evening entertainment, there was karaoke in the theater. This was the first all-inclusive hotel we went to where 85% of the guests were Mexican. It was very much a local crowd. I was disappointed with the very limited alcohol selections they had behind the bar. After leaving karaoke, we found an area behind the sports bar that had offered chips, queso, and some other snacks that we also found to be pretty average. The following morning, the sun was out, and after breakfast, we headed to the pool. There are 3 pool areas. The main pool offers an area where there's music, games, and volleyball. We spent most of our day in the adults-only area where there was plenty of seating and shade and a pool bar close by. Later, we headed to the beach. The seaweed or sargassum is most active during the months of March to September. There was a moderate amount. We got knee-deep in the water for a quick pick, and then Jen headed back to the shade. They're alive! What? How are y'all?
Dad's behind the camera. He's getting a hug.
Not yet. Wow.
Oh, just
Yeah, because he looks great. Yeah.
So we're doing what for tonight?
We're eating at the seafood place because we finally got reservations because we had to get them at like 7:30 a.m. And y'all thankfully woke up for them. The person I did not. So
Nice.
yeah.
In the early afternoon, my favorite of the 3 pools is this infinity pool. The sun goes down behind the hotel and it's a great place to relax out of the direct heat of the sun. A highlight of our stay here was playing water volleyball with my 2 boys. The only disappointing thing was they take the net down at 6 p.m. when everyone still wants to play with plenty of sunshine left in the day. For our second evening, we had dinner at the seafood restaurant. The crab cakes were average, and I enjoyed a great seafood appetizer along with AJ, while Preston had a salad. The winner of the entire meal was hands down the lobster bisque. Jennifer even had another bowl for dessert.
Hey, Mama. What makes a bisque a bisque?
It may not be the most technical explanation, but I believe it has to be made with alcohol. This one's made with rum. A lot of times it's made with like a sherry or a white wine or something, and it has to have cream in it, typically. So it's a bisque.
What's the difference between a chowder and biscuit?
So a chowder has to have potatoes. This would be a lobster chowder if it had potatoes in it, and it doesn't have alcohol usually. But a bisque usually has alcohol. Not that you can really taste it, but it's cooked down.
For my main course, I ended up having a seafood platter on a hot skillet. This was wonderful. I ate every bite of it, including all the vegetables. The entertainment for the second evening was a Michael Jackson performance. We had seen this show before, so we only stayed for about the first 2 songs. All right, go ahead. AJ, what would you say about your ratings toward this hotel?
Give it a grade, like an A, B, C, D, E, F.
I mean, well, service wasn't the best. Like the bar, like they seemed very short-staffed all around. The fine dining was nice. That was good.
Yeah, good service, good attitude, good food.
But they did seem understaffed.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I didn't have to do anything, so that's nice.
Right? No dishes to wash, no trash to take out, you know?
Rooms were pretty clean. Place was overall pretty good.
Did you find the bed comfortable?
Yeah. I mean, I find basically anything comfortable. I sleep on a solid concrete on
You're a
the floor.
teenage boy.
The AC was cold. I love the AC. I feel it on my back right now.
I don't know. Overall, like 5 or 6 out of 10.
Okay. Preston, what would you think?
6.5. Everything was just
Okay.
generally okay. Nothing bad, so you can't put it lower.
And what are the things that you like that other places have that this one doesn't? Like, how does it not compare to be like an 8? What would it need to be an 8 or 9?
It's very, very small.
Very small,
Better food.
Better food.
Do you like that it's small?
I mean,
There's ups and downs of it being small.
in parts, yes. In other parts, no. I mean, like, the beach is very small, but that's okay. It's also mostly for the team right now, so.
Which is not their fault.
Yeah, 100% not their fault.
So I feel like, for me, a big part of what I enjoy about a resort is the beach. And there are pitiful little twigs that they call palm trees on the beach, and there's only like half a dozen of them.
There's so much
no
seaweed.
chairs with
And
like umbrellas.
No umbrellas, even no palapas, no nothing. And usually
Something like
beaches that don't have, you know, palm trees, they'll put up palapas or whatever. And somebody said that the hurricane took all their stuff out. Well, they haven't rebuilt it. And then there's things like, you know, there's lines on the wall from like, you know, stuff that needs to be repainted. The curtains are a little dirty. There's chips in the tile floor. So like you can tell it's a little older resort and maybe not quite as well maintained as some others. Windows haven't been cleaned as often, you know, things like that. But the people were very nice. I do agree with you. I feel like they were understaffed. I feel like the quality of the food is about a B- to a C+, except for the restaurant, which I would give a solid A- to. The service I give an A to.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe an A-, maybe a B+ on the food in the restaurant.
If we're talking just the lobster bisque, A+.
Lobster bisque was fabulous. And that sort of saved the meal for me. Stuffed cuttlefish was interesting, but
The crab cakes and the lobster bisque were 2 very separate sides of seafood.
yeah, okay, very good. Yeah, I agree with that. And the inability to get a restaurant, I don't like having to get a restaurant reservation for every restaurant
At
you go
7 a.m.
to. At 7 a.m. If you want to sleep in, that's ridiculous because if you go at 9 or 10, you don't always get a reservation. And so we didn't get one when we checked in. So then you just kind of lose one night of fine dining
And
because
then the food at the buffet is just meh.
the food at the buffet was kind of meh. It was basic. It wasn't terrible. It didn't taste bad, but it was nothing to write home about. I didn't have a dish where I would be like, oh, this was great there. Not like at Royal Haciendas, where they have like different themes every night and the food is just really good quality.
All right. So now we're going to head to another resort. And
Mom still needs to give her a full rating out though.
So if I were giving it a grade, a letter grade, I'd give it a C+. If I were giving it a number grade, I probably would give it about a 6. I agree with that.
I think you get what you pay for. And this was on the list of the best, cheapest hotels.
It's very Mexican local. Like you get a lot of people that are locals.
Like what percentage, AJ, do you
I
think?
don't mind that.
80.
I would say 80 to 85. Yeah.
Yep, which is fine. Which is fine. Probably.
Yeah. This is their Galveston. Like this is their San Luis or whatever that they go to go, you know, not San Luis maybe, but maybe one of the other little resorts on the
Days Inn. Something like that.
it's a little nicer than a Days Inn. Let's be real, but
All right. Well, let's head to the next one.
okay.
I think this is a good time to discuss the expenses for this trip so you have an idea of what you're paying for with each of these 2 hotels. We gave the boys their own rooms, so the Occidental Cancun is essentially $180 for each room per night. We're moving to the Wyndham, which is $323 per room per night. This is almost twice as much. We found after coming to Mexico several times that going from a cheap to good to great hotel, the price usually doubles. You definitely get what you pay for in life, but when you have kids, and we have 4 in total, we found no matter how frugal I got, vacations that last 5 to 7 days usually end up costing about $1,000 per person. This vacation cost approximately $3,488 for 4 nights, so we're still close on that average today. We grabbed a $5 Uber from the Occidental Tucancun to the Wyndham Alltra, which is about 2 miles further north in the hotel zone. You can't get an Uber from the airport, but around Cancun they are available and significantly cheaper than taxis. I love the fact that we can pack our whole family in 4 backpacks for a trip for 4 nights. We arrived at the Wyndham Alltra and immediately noticed the quality of the hotel was a lot better. We met Jesus at check-in, and he loved that we attempted to communicate with him in Spanish. We find that most Mexicans love it when you at least try to speak Spanish when you're there.
Escuela para 10 años, ¿no?
Grado 1 hasta grado 6, solo las clases en español.
¿Por qué te gusta? Porque es bien para entender y hablar una otra lengua o idioma, porque puedes comunicar con muchas otras personas.
Bueno, interesante. También su dirección de casa, su correo y firma de los dos. ¿Cuántos años tienen ustedes? ¿Cuántos años tienen?
18.
18.
Just graduated from high school.
Muy bien.
And 15 años.
¿Tu amigo te gustaría aprender español un poco?
He does not understand.
Because there are people who don't speak,
I already signed it for
you know, like they do the signers, and we have to do our best, you know.
That's the most Spanish I've ever got you recorded saying in the 8 years that you've. He doesn't like to speak it. He'd rather like let
Surprise
people
people.
surprise him and like assume he doesn't speak Spanish.
Well, you know, we live in Houston, and so many people there speak Spanish. And so at school, there are some people that will speak Spanish, and then all of a sudden, after like a month, he'll say something back in Spanish, and they're like, "Wait, what?" He kind of likes that.
Pero tú tienes, aquí tú vas a practicar, amigo, ¿cómo se llama?
Antonio.
Antonio, tú aquí vas a hablar con todas las personas, vas a practicar, porque tú hablas bien, tú hablas normal. Yo entiendo, yo veo que tú hablas normal, bien, español.
Puedo practicar si quiero.
Because we were checking in so early, our rooms weren't ready yet, so we headed down to the pool after changing into our swimsuits. The Wyndham Alltra had this nice covered patio on the pool level, and it also provides a covered area below on the beach. This beach did have palapas and chairs with a bar close by to shade you from the sun. We didn't get in the water during our stay because there was even more seaweed at this beach than at the prior beach. There was beach volleyball being played despite all the strong winds. The hotel hosted a little poolside ceviche class. There were about 10 different people that showed up, these tables that were under a porch overlooking the beach. Jennifer loves to cook and always participates in these food competitions. Me and the 4 kids have been reaping the rewards of her cooking for over 25 years. I joke that I get dividends 3 times a day. The ingredients were provided in these nice little plastic cups. There was pineapple and cucumber and jicama, which she doesn't normally use. She added lots of lime, and what she initially thought were jalapeno peppers turned out to be serrano peppers. That made her ceviche just a little hotter.
Oh, that looks nice. That looks nice. Jennifer, how are you going to call it? This one name. Okay. Power. Confidence. Tenemos a Wicca, Jennifer from Texas. El premio Open Bar.
Yes. How do I take that? Number one in my book, baby. Our room was ready around 3, and when we went to look at it, we had a king-size bed with a nice sitting area, a good view. This faced the bay in the back of the hotel and also over where the kids' pool area was. This room was a lot nicer than the room that we had stayed at before. You could tell that it is updated and just newer, but for us, a room is a room. Is making ceviche that much work?
No. It's just hot out there whenever the breeze quit.
Made some hot ceviche.
This place is nice.
It's pretty nice.
I like it so far.
I like it too.
Maintenance-wise, or newness-wise, or remodel-wise, it definitely seems newer than the other one, or more well-kept. There's definitely not a lack of service staff here, and what they didn't have at the last place, which I appreciate, is people coming around to serve you. The only place we found that was at the adult pool at the other place, and it was tiny, and there was a bartender and a helper would come and serve you when she wasn't busy.
Yes.
But here they have people specifically dedicated to come around and serve you, which I kind of appreciated. It felt pampered, and that was kind of nice.
This place only has one pool, though.
It has two.
The second pool is the kid pool, yeah.
Right, but it has one main pool, but the pool is much more cool than the other one. It's not as hot.
It is much more cool.
And it's larger.
And for some reason, the beach is not as nice, just barely 2 miles north of where we are. I would have thought this beach would have been equally as nice, but it unfortunately is not.
What do you mean the beach is not as nice?
It's not as well kept. How about that?
So I think that maybe you need to make that determination in the morning, because they groom in the morning and the seaweed's terrible. They're not grooming in the midday. I do like the fact that there are palapas and shade out there, so if I want to sit out there and listen to the waves crash and not hear all of the music from the pool, I can have the quiet and sit and read a book and watch the ocean, which I enjoy.
And we did find a place right away. No one was like exclusively saving seats to where there was towels, but no one sitting there.
Right. Yeah, it was easy to find a place to sit with all 4 of us.
Yes, it was fun. Good deal. We've only been here a few hours, and I consider it great so far.
I enjoyed it.
My absolute favorite time of the day is in the late afternoon when the sun isn't beating down and it's just you hanging out by the pool with your teenagers. Our teens are like most, they want their cave and screen time, but when they're ready, we cherish the time that they open up and have conversations and share their opinion about life. We have a saying that our kids will be older a lot longer than they'll be young. We don't have the fanciest vehicles, we don't eat out often, but we'll spend the money on vacations. And these stories about this trip that'll come out in future conversations over the course of years produce memory dividends which are priceless. I'll take those dividends over the cash sitting in an account any day.
I've been to some resorts where I get food and I'm just like, dang. Like, I might be able to make a dish this good, but this is really good. Or wow, I wish I knew how they made it. There's not a dish here that we've had where I'm like, I couldn't, that I'm not thinking I could have made it better so far. We're out of it. That was a very redeeming dish for that restaurant.
Yeah.
But
I do think though overall, this place deserves a revisit. Like,
Deserves a what?
we need to get through, we need to get through tomorrow, see what that's like.
Like after we leave, I think I would end up coming back. Like with a small group of friends or something. The pool isn't the best because there's only one thing. It's a bit crowded. You know, if the main pool was a little less crowded, then it'd be an A+. But it is a nice pool. So overall, I give this place an A.
The following day was the most overcast that we had had during our 4 nights here. The seaweed continued to build up on the beach, and Jennifer was right. Eventually, a few hours later, they came along with a tractor. It's a daunting task to try to keep up with the seaweed. The hotel employees said they try to clean it up every other day. They essentially cleared a little more beach, but basically piled it up closer to the water, which made it a barrier to get into the ocean. They're doing the best they can under the circumstances. October is the best time to come when the waves are not so rough and the seaweed is minimal. After a lazy morning on the beach, we went to lunch at the buffet. This buffet had something for every palate. There's a burger and hot dog station with all the fixings, many different side dishes. There are mixed vegetables. There's lots of choices if you wanted to make a salad, multiple different fruits, different meat and cheeses. There's a whole array of different breads and pastries and desserts. Of everything, though, on the buffet, I think my favorite, along with my son's AJ's favorite, has to be the nacho bar. After I looked at both of our plates, I kind of wondered, how do you say that you love Tex-Mex without saying that you love Tex-Mex? The sports bar was placed cleverly right outside the main kids' pool area. This bar had many choices, way more than the other hotel had. There were always multiple people working, never had to wait in line. They didn't have Jen's favorite vodka, which is Cuddle One or even Tito's, but they did have many options. Another nice specialty place they had was this Cafe Mexico coffee shop. Both mornings we got a coffee here. This, along with the pastries, were all included in the all-inclusive package, unlike some cruise ships. We enjoyed them on these wood-carved tables and stools, which they had in the lobby. Okay, so we're about to check out from the Wyndham Alltra, and I just wanted to get y'all's opinion about the differences between the two and what you liked and didn't like about it.
Cleaner, neater, more spacious, bigger. Constantly saw people cleaning. The food was definitely better, both at the buffet and in the restaurants. I can't say the service was better in the restaurants. We had one server that was kind of meh and one that was good. The food was more selection, better quality. I liked the pool area. I liked the beach area here because there was shade. I definitely liked the fact that they actually had people that would come around and ask if you wanted something to drink, which is something that I appreciate. The taco bar rocked, and the ribs that they had on the grill, I think that was a really nice touch that was available all day by the pool. I wish they had a quieter pool area, not necessarily maybe an adult, but one that wasn't with all the music and the Zumba and the games and the whatevers, because I like to chillax a little more.
And you wish it was probably a little cooler in the restaurants too, right?
It was hot in all the restaurants. AC in the rooms is awesome.
Awesome. AJ, any opinions?
This one just felt higher quality than the other one. That was about it. Mom covered basically everything else.
We hold the Chase Sapphire Reserve card. As a benefit, we get priority pass lounge access in different airports across the world at no cost. Cancun is a place that happens to be called The Lounge. It's a nice place to hang out right before your flight. The lounge has snacks and beverages all available at no charge, and you can even bring a guest with you into the lounge at no charge. We made it back home to Houston in 1 hour and 45 minutes. Thank you for watching, and we look forward to our next trip and making more memory dividends soon.